The metallic taste of blood filled my mouth as I pressed the ice pack against my swollen jaw. The emergency room's harsh fluorescent lights made my head pound even harder, but it wasn't nearly as painful as the realization that my own brother had done this to me. My name is Alexander Chen, and at 29, I never thought I'd be sitting in a hospital because my older brother Marcus had attacked me in a fit of rage. The irony wasn't lost on me. Just 3 hours ago, I had been celebrating my tech company's successful launch of our new software platform. The nurses kept giving me concerned looks as they passed by my cubicle. I must have been quite a sight: designer suit now stained with blood, split lip, and a jaw that was already turning purple. The police officer taking my statement seemed equally disturbed. "And you say your brother did this?" he asked, pen hovering over his notepad. I nodded, then winced at the movement. Marcus Chen. He showed up at my office after the press conference. The press conference, that's what had triggered everything. After 2 years of development, my company had finally launched our cybersecurity software. The same type of software Marcus's company had tried and failed to develop 3 years ago. I closed my eyes, remembering how it had unfolded. I was packing up my presentation materials when Marcus burst into the conference room. Everyone else had left, which I now realize was unfortunate. No witnesses except the security cameras. "Enjoying your moment of glory, little brother." His voice had been eerily calm, but his eyes blazed with something I'd never seen before. "Must feel good, succeeding where I failed." "Marcus, I didn't." I started to explain, but he cut me off. "Don't." He slammed his fist on the table. "Don't you dare pretend this isn't about me. You knew I was working on this technology. You knew this was my dream. Your company gave up on this project 3 years ago," I replied, trying to keep my voice steady. "You moved on to other ventures. The market needed this solution." "The market?" He laughed, a harsh sound that made me step back. "You mean my investors, the ones who pulled out of my company and backed yours instead. Did you think I wouldn't find out?" My phone buzzed on the table, probably another congratulatory message. Marcus's eyes fixed on it, then narrowed. "This should have been mine," he snarled, advancing toward me. Before I could react, his fist connected with my jaw. The force sent me sprawling across the conference table. I tasted blood as I tried to push myself up. "Marcus, stop, you stole everything." Another blow, this time to my ribs, my investors, my concept, my future. Security found us minutes later, alerted by the noise. They pulled Marcus off me, his suit disheveled, his knuckles bloody. As they dragged him away, he kept screaming about betrayal and theft. Now, sitting in the ER, I couldn't stop my hands from shaking. The doctor had confirmed my jaw was fractured, requiring surgery to properly set it. The police were reviewing the security footage, and the officer assured me they would be pressing charges. My phone hadn't stopped buzzing since I arrived at the hospital. Messages from my team, from investors, from tech journalists all blended together. But one message made my heart stop: an email from the National Technology Board. As I opened it, a strange calm washed over me. In my peripheral vision, I saw the officer return with more questions, but I barely heard him. The words on my screen changed everything. "Investigation into intellectual property, theft, Marcus Chen." Marcus had been wrong about me stealing his concept. What he didn't know was that during their investigation of my company's software, the tech board had discovered something about his failed project. Something that would destroy more than just his reputation. My finger hovered over the email as another wave of pain shot through my jaw. The truth was about to come out, and there was nothing Marcus could do to stop it. "Mr. Chen." The officer's voice brought me back to the present. "We've reviewed the security footage. Would you like to press charges against your brother?" I looked up from my phone, tasting blood again, as I attempted to smile. "Yes," I said carefully, my fractured jaw making each word a challenge. "Yes, I would." The next few hours would change everything, for both of us, but only one of us deserved what was coming. The surgery to repair my fractured jaw took 4 hours. When I woke up, my phone had 47 missed calls, and over 100 messages. Most were from our parents, who couldn't believe their eldest son had attacked their youngest. But the message that mattered most was from Diana Torres, the lead investigator at the National Technology Board. Emergency meeting called. Marcus Chen's 2020 to 2021 project files reveal significant discrepancies. Need your statement ASAP. From my hospital bed, I forwarded her the files I'd been holding onto for 3 years. Emails, project documentation, and most importantly, the real reason Marcus's company had failed to develop the software. My nurse, Jenny, adjusted my IV while giving me a sympathetic look. "Your brother's on the news," she said quietly, turning up the volume on the room's small TV. There he was, being led out of the police station in handcuffs. The headline scrolled beneath: Tech CEO arrested for assault, investigation reveals deeper scandal. Marcus Chen, CEO of Chen Innovations, was arrested today for assaulting his brother, Alexander Chen. Sources suggest an ongoing investigation into corporate fraud. I muted the TV as my phone rang. "Mom, Sander, please," she pleaded, her voice thick with tears. "He's your brother. Whatever he did, we can work this out as a family." "Mom," I said carefully, my wired shut jaw making speech difficult, "there's something you need to know about Marcus's project failure." 3 years ago, Marcus's company had received $50 million in funding to develop advanced cybersecurity software. The same investors had approached me last year, impressed by my prototype. What Marcus didn't know was that I had discovered why his project really failed. "Your brother worked so hard on that project," Mom said. "He was devastated when it fell apart." "He didn't work on anything, Mom. He stole the initial code from a small Russian firm, and when they threatened to expose him, he destroyed the project and blamed technical failures." The silence on the other end was deafening. "That's not true," she whispered. "Marcus wouldn't." My tablet pinged with an email from Diana. Attached were the investigation's preliminary findings. I forwarded them to Mom. "Read it," I said softly. "The money laundering, the stolen code, the threats to junior developers who discovered the truth. Read what your perfect eldest son really did." The hospital room door opened, and Dad walked in, his face ashen. He'd already seen the news. "The investors," he said, sinking into the chair beside my bed. "They're pressing charges too, aren't they?" I nodded. The movement sent pain shooting through my jaw. $50 million, Dad muttered. "All those people he threatened to keep quiet. And now this." He gestured at my bandaged face. "Where did we go wrong with him?" My phone buzzed again. A text from Sarah, Marcus's wife. "How long have you known?" I'd met Sarah for coffee 2 months ago. She'd noticed suspicious transfers from their joint account, had questions about Marcus's failed project. I'd shown her enough to help her protect herself. Last week she'd filed for divorce. "Mr. Chen." Diana Torres stood in the doorway, tablet in hand. "We need to discuss your brother's upcoming hearing. And there's something else you should see." She handed me her tablet. On the screen was an email thread between Marcus and a known corporate spy, dated just last week. They were planning to hack my company's servers after the launch, steal our legitimate code, and sell it overseas. "If he hadn't attacked you," Diana said, "we might not have caught this in time." My parents read over my shoulder, their faces growing paler with each line. Mom started to cry. Dad just looked empty. "I've already alerted the FBI's cybercrime division," Diana continued. "Between the assault charges, the fraud investigation, and this attempted corporate espionage, your brother is facing serious prison time." I should have felt satisfied, maybe even vindicated. Instead, I just felt tired. My jaw throbbed, a constant reminder of how far Marcus had fallen. "The press is outside," Jenny warned, peeking through the blinds. "They want statements about both the assault and the investigation." Diana straightened her jacket. "As lead investigator, I'll handle the media. Mr. Chen, focus on recovering. We'll need your formal statement once you're better." After she left, my parents sat in silence, processing how their perfect son's life had unraveled in less than 24 hours. My phone buzzed one final time. A text from Marcus's number. "You ruined everything." "No, Marcus, you did that all on your own." 6 months later, I stood outside the courthouse, my jaw fully healed, but my family permanently fractured. Marcus's sentencing had just concluded, and the media frenzy was finally dying down. 15 years, that's what the judge had given him. 5 for the assault, 10 for the corporate fraud, and attempted espionage. I hadn't looked at him during the sentencing, but I could feel his eyes burning into me from across the courtroom. Our parents sat in the middle, torn between their sons, until the very end. Mom had aged years and months, and Dad barely spoke anymore. "Mr. Chen," a reporter caught up to me as I headed to my car. "Any comments on your brother's sentencing?" I touched my jaw reflexively, feeling the small metal plate that would always remind me of that day. "Justice was served," I said simply. "That's all." Back at my office, my team had gathered to celebrate the successful expansion of our software platform. In the months following Marcus's arrest, our company had thrived. The publicity, though unwanted, had highlighted our legitimate success and ethical practices. Sarah, now my brother's ex-wife, had joined our legal team. She'd helped build the case against Marcus, providing crucial evidence of his financial crimes. Now she stood in my office, holding a manila envelope. "Found these in our old house," she said, pulling out photographs. "Thought you might want them." They were pictures from 15 years ago. Marcus and me at my college graduation. He had his arm around my shoulders, both of us smiling. Back when I still believed in my big brother. The investigators finished scanning his hard drives. Sarah continued, sitting down. "Found evidence of 3 other companies he'd tried to sabotage. You weren't special, Alex, just the only one who caught him." My phone buzzed, a text from Mom, "Visiting him tomorrow, please come." I hadn't seen Marcus since the sentencing, hadn't wanted to. "You should go," Sarah said, reading my expression. "Not for him, for you." The next morning, I found myself in the prison visiting area. Marcus sat across from me, orange jumpsuit replacing his designer suits. He'd lost weight, and his eyes had lost their arrogant gleam. "Come to gloat," his voice was hoarse. "No." I studied him, this stranger, wearing my brother's face. I came to understand why. He laughed bitterly. "Why? Because you were always the smart one, the good one, the one they were all proud of. I was just the one who had to fight for everything." "Fight?" I leaned forward. "You stole code, threatened innocent people, laundered money. That's not fighting, Marcus. That's cheating. You don't understand the pressure." "To what?" "To succeed at any cost. To maintain your image as the perfect eldest son." I shook my head. "You had talent, Marcus. Real talent, but you chose shortcuts." He stared at his hands. "That day, when I saw you at the press conference, everything I'd tried to hide, all my failures, they all came crashing down. So you tried to crash me down too." A guard approached, signaling the end of visiting hours. I stood up. "The company's doing well," I said. "We're using some of the profits to repay the investors you defrauded. Not because we have to, but because it's right." "Always the hero," he muttered. "No." I touched my jaw again. "Just someone who learned from your mistakes." Outside, Mom waited by her car. "How is he?" "The same. Still blaming everyone but himself." She nodded slowly. "Your father's talking about retiring early. All this, it's broken something in him." "I know." I hugged her gently. "But we'll get through it." Back at my office, Diana Torres had left a message. The investigation had uncovered more of Marcus's crimes, but they wouldn't be pressing additional charges. 15 years was enough. I sat at my desk, looking at the photos Sarah had brought. 2 brothers, one proud moment, before greed and jealousy poisoned everything. My jaw ached, a phantom pain that might never fully disappear. A knock at my door, my lead developer with updates on our latest project. Life moved forward, success built on genuine innovation, rather than stolen dreams. In my desk drawer, I kept a small newspaper clipping from that day in the emergency room. Not as a reminder of the pain, but of the lesson. Success built on lies will always crumble, but truth, though painful, builds foundations that last. My phone buzzed one last time. Another text from Mom. "He's asking for your forgiveness." I closed the message without responding. Some fractures, like the one in my jaw, might heal. Others, like the one between brothers, would remain forever broken. And that was okay, because sometimes broken things can't be fixed. They can only be accepted, learned from, and left behind as we build something better. The end.